Hello everyone, today we are going to interview Ms. Mark Giles who participated in the Wang Central Park project. Central Park, locating opposite to the UTS Tower, is the first stage of the Central Park project designed by Jane Nover. Wang Central Park is an apartment complex with a shopping center, and it was completed by Wetpack Construction in October 2013. Wang Central Park is a striking reminder that nature can thrive in the city.
I want to know Mr. Giles' opinion about artificial plants. Then we take Oscar Mayer building as an example, which would be criticism because of using too many artificial plants.
We are using all real plants, so all planting is real. And we've carefully chosen that, and we did not entertain artificial planting at all. Certainly our understanding when we're doing projects like this in Australia, the use of artificial planting can lead to a lessened appearance or a lesser feeling of the quality of what we're trying to achieve. And in Australia, and certainly in Sydney, where we're surrounded by such natural environment as well, we see the relevance and the appropriateness of using real planting as in wherever we can. So it's 100% real planting for Wang Central Park. And again, there was a lot of work has gone on with our landscaping consultants, and a lot of selection, a lot of research has gone on to those specific species to make sure that we're using, as in where we can, indigenous planting types, and then to have those go right up there. Because so we've had to work very closely with a lot of our landscape people with a lot of species of plants to determine which ones are appropriate and which ones are not. And then with our south facades there as well, there's more limited sunlight, and hence there'd be more limited approach to how we would have to deal with the planting there. But we were very much, it was the intention as well that Central Park is a sustainability project. So it was very much seen that the use of real planting and getting those real plants to thrive and be such a vibrant part of the project is integral to its success.
So you actually disagreed to use artificial plants?
Yeah, we didn't consider that.
Why choose the real plant? Because lots of trouble, like you say, you need to consider about the temperature and the wet. It's lots of trouble, right?
Yeah. There's for some species they would be very, very, very vulnerable in a condition like this. So we spend a lot of time with our landscape architects and with them their research and with their contractors as well to source the right species that will be okay in those conditions. So we had to be very, very careful to find the right species.
Okay, thank you very much. So the second question is, how much do you consider about the background of the building when you design a new architecture?
Like a relevance to its place or its context? Yes, good. And would you like that to be answered in the context of Wang Central Park or technically?
If possible, please.
To Wang Central Park? This might be helpful. This is a PowerPoint presentation that I gave a little while ago. Now, Central Park used to be a brewery. Used to make beer there. And there's a gate. This is Broadway coming along here. And there's this gate here, and that gate has been preserved for us. So where Wang Central Park comes up to nest against our adjoining buildings, there's still a heritage gate. If you go there at the moment, the gate is still under work with our stonemasons. So it's against our adjoining buildings, there's still a heritage gate. If you go there at the moment, the gate is still under work with our stonemasons. So it's all scaffolded, so that there's people in there still doing repair works to get that gate back up to be restored. So when it was under this condition, it was a gated community. It was a factory, so people could not enter the building, the entire site. So you could walk past it and you might be able to sense a little bit about what's happening in there, but you weren't allowed entry.
So even initially the industrial site?
Yes, industrial, yes, yes, that's right. So to go from where we are here, when it was the Kent Brewery, to now be where we are now, and Wang Central Park, this is our building right here.
Yes.
And I'm currently working as well here with fostering partners for some new buildings here.
So is it hospital?
Oh, no, this is residential and retail spaces as well. So there's a site you might see that's under construction now too. This is all part of Fraser's ancillary housing, where there's this Central Park, and then our One Central Park was the first building. This is a building that creates the signature, and this is the establishes this as the first building to create their entire vision for this area. So within this site of all this area, there's well over 20 pieces of heritage, which is from its history being this brewery. So the gate being one, there's a big factory with the chimney that we're preserved here, that we're created here into what we call as a central thermal plant. So in here as well, we have a lot of sustainability issues that we deal with. So to do with that, we have heating water that we use for all the buildings here, and cooling water for air conditioning as well, amongst other things that we do for electricity that we sell back into the grid. So the entire project here has many pieces of heritage that are all around it in various areas. Where One Central Park sits, it's a 5-story retail podium, and it goes down into the ground with a number of basement car parks as well. There was some contamination on site, so through the process of digging that down, we claimed that site from there. We had to be very careful to preserve the heritage gate, which was right nearby, which is this gate that you can see here. So with that, we dug all the way down very carefully, and then with that, then we could build our building up, and then have that come up to and just relate to the gate, right? And then use these other heritage buildings within it to give that new life and a new longevity in terms of this entire development and how this will now go on to the future. So we see this is its past, and its past was very important to us. And then from that past, we're now trying to claim this, and we're trying to give this as much of a viable future. So all those heritage items that we saw relevant and important from here are still here now, so they can go on into the future again.
Oh, I see. So it looks quite new, but actually it includes some heritage.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a real strong mix.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much what we're interested in as well, to feel that we preserve where we can, and we give those as much of a use as much as a viability, so that they can continue on into the future as well. So we have a responsibility there. And then to make sure that where we do new works, we do that appropriately so it can live with these heritage items to all go into the future together.
You treat this gate as a symbol to remind people of the past, or?
Oh yeah, certainly. It has a signage associated with it, and we've been very conscious that when we designed our building at One Central Park, we would come up to it and we would allow our building to receive it, so that we didn't. We wanted to be quite gentle as we came up to that building, to sort of feel that we could come up to it and acknowledge its existence and shape our building around it. So we allow it to still be there as an important piece, and our building to come up and be linked to it. Does that make sense?
So is that like the same between in the whole project to deliver?
Oh yes, well, a lot of other instances, we did not have heritage hard up against our building, where we would have to, which create a necessity of dialogue with it. What we needed to do was to, in this instance, was understand how we would relate to that situation. Where the central thermal plant is over here, that you can see over here, we've been very conscious in the master planning and how we create this all through here. Because that's a very big building with a lot of dominance, a lot of presence there, is that we've given that a lot of space around there, so it can sit as it is, as its own entity. It becomes more, we have to create more dialogue and have to consider far more things if buildings come right up and touch each other. So the gates is one thing where that does happen. So we needed a lot of work there to feel that we were coming up with an appropriate design solution, to feel that the building acknowledges the gate, and the gate acknowledges the building, and there's a
Project manager student, so we are really interested.
Oh yes, some of you mentioned about project management.
What's your process for working well with project manager? Like, do you use any tool or technique when you communicate with project manager?
Okay, right. Well, with One Central Park, we work very closely with Fraser's Property Group, and they have their Sexually as well, who they joint venture with as well as their partner. So primarily, we work very, very closely with the Fraser's Property Group, and they have project managers there. And the good thing I think with the project here is that we are all part of a team. So project managers will have various agendas and various items that they need to complete and to work through, the same as architects have various agendas and items that we need to work through as well. So what I find with a project like this, it was a very, very, very good experience for me, where we all have a good respect for each other. We all appreciate what people need to do and what they have to complete themselves, and how we can all work together to achieve the right outcomes. So there may be a project manager who has certain time frames where things need to happen. There will be a lot of approvals that are necessary with buildings like this. So we're working with them in time frames to make sure that, okay, there's this approval that's coming up, how do we appropriate the information we need to seek that approval, and will that approval give everything that we need?
Yeah.
So project managers, it's always a very good thing about with projects like this, there's a big team of people. There could be easily 25 people. Yeah? So everyone has their own different ideas.
Yeah.
The good thing is they all have their own contributions that they can make. And the good thing is that with project managers and with ourselves as architects and engineers and other people that are all dealing with us, they all have contribution. So it's trying to make sure that can all happen very smoothly so that we can all work together.
But what happen when you have different opinion? Like project manager want to control the cost, control the schedule, but maybe your architecture need to build something.
Sure, and there'll always be challenges, and there's always demanding situations that happen through that as well. So for us architecturally, with One Central Park, it's a building that achieves a great many things. We have some magnificent facade systems that we've been able to achieve there. We have a massive big cantilever and heliostats and various things there. So it was us needing to understand that in its whole form about what would be an appropriate architecture response, which is cost effective, which does give them what the client is seeking, and probably where we can to give them more, and how we can successfulully employ that to give them a building which has duration and a quality outcome. The good situation with something like here with Fraser's, they were very, very keen on an iconic building, and One Central Park is the key instigator of Central Park, this entire Central Park. So this is our first building. This is the one that creates the gateway to the city with the UTS tower opposite to it. So there's a lot of aspiration for this building. So through that conversation, and it takes a while, it's not sort of something that happens immediately. It takes time to get the appreciation of what this building should be achieving and what it needs to do, and then to allow that the project manager is still working as hard as we are as well to understand how do we give the right parameters for this building, and how the architect can work with those parameters to get the right outcome. So we all work cohesively together. It's very much a collaborative approach, and that's where I think the good things happen out of a project like this, or is the team working together to get a great outcome. So project managers, they have their requirements, architects, we have our requirements, and we all just need to work together. Many meetings sometimes to try to find out where they're coming